Hello, welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is Tuesday, September 15, 2020. When I'm teaching self-defense, especially when I teach people how to fight on the ground, quite often I say something like, you got to remember, this is not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, a lot of people, especially people who are into MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, who may interpret what I say as being uh, derogatory toward Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. People may think that I look down on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but in fact, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have no intention of disrespecting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, either as a sport or as a martial art. But, be that as it may, I am also a firm believer that for the most part, people who practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and use it as their main form of martial art or self-defense, actually their main form of self-defense, is problematic. And this is why. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu itself is not a problematic martial art or self-defense. It has a lot of great things to offer. However, it is a way that it is taught to people. 9 out of 10 cases, it is aimed for competition, in, by which it means no striking, no bending the finger, no manipulating this, or no pinching, no scratching, no crying the eyes, no hitting the groin. All that rule. And it is easy for a person to get lost into that rule set and forget that those rules don't apply when you're out there on the street actually getting attacked. Another thing is when you are sparring or rolling in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, since there's no striking, you do not build up a condition for being hit. You do not build up a tolerance for getting hit. So the first time you try to take someone down in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and that person punches you in the face, you go into shock. You get stunned right away. And then you forget everything that you were taught. Third is in most Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teaching, it does not show you what you're supposed to do if there's more than one attacker. Let's say you are a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter and you take this person down to the ground and you are going for that armbar or rear naked choke or guillotine choke, and then his friend come in and start stomping on your head. How do you deal with that? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the way most people are being taught, do not cover these scenarios. Last but not least, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu very rarely teach you about weapon or the introducing of weapon in the conflict. Again, let's say you take the person to the ground and you're going for the arm control, you're going for that triangle choke, and the person suddenly pulls out, we don't even need to say a knife. That person pulls out a toothpick and start jamming it in your face. You, without proper training, without conditioning, you would have a hard time not get hurt really badly in that situation. So these are why I often bring up this is not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when we are training in ground self-defense in Krav Maga. So speaking of ground, today I want to show you guys a nice little technique in striking on the ground. Uh, it's called the Snap Dragon Strike. This technique was derived from both the praying mantis and the snake branch of Chinese Kung Fu. I'll guide you guys through it and you'll see what I mean, especially those of you who practice either of those branch of Chinese Kung Fu before. No, just because it's derived from Kung Fu doesn't mean it's no good in a fight. In fact, this is one of the very useful things that I took away from my Oriental martial art training is the Snapdragon Strike. Let's take a look. Let's say me and my opponent has gone to the ground, but my opponent manages to get on top of me. This is where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu comes in handy. Okay, this is where I really need to know what to do to get this person off of me so I can move. Because when the person is top of you like this, you don't want to start hitting. Can you hit? Yeah, some of us can even hit hard, hitting from here, hitting from here. But almost certainly, if this person is good enough to get me on the ground and get on top of me, he is probably bigger, probably pretty skilled, and if I start hitting from here, he's going to start hitting too. And him hitting from above is going to hit way harder than me hitting from below. And from here, since I'm underneath him, if he starts hitting, I have nowhere to go. I can maybe block a few of them, but that is not a good situation. So my priority at this point is to control him and try to get in a better position so I'm not pinned underneath him. Now we're not going to go into details on that because that's more involved. But one of the quickest way is if he's when the person on top is trying to strike or trying to push at me, grab at me, you will feel his weight shift left, right, left, right. This is why I have my legs clamped around his body. He's in my guard. Using Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lingo, he's in my guard. This way I can feel whichever way he's going to go. Let's say I feel that he is leaning more to the right because he's trying to hit me with his left hand, so he's leaning more to my right. Then all I have to do is drop my right leg to the ground, drop my right leg open, and bring my left knee up into his armpit. Okay, and give him a shove. Now we are on our side. He's on his side. I'm on my side. Now we are more or less even. Now I'm not pinned underneath him. I have more room to maneuver from here. And I still have my leg controlling his lower body so he can't kick me in the groin. Okay? So, how do we move on from this point? When you throw the person, when you roll the person to the side like this, there's only three possibilities of how he's going to land. Only three. He's either going to be facing down. A lot of times they will be facing down, in which case there's no issue at all. That makes things really easy for me. If he's facing down, all I have to do is grab the arm that is inside, that is toward me, stretch it across my own shoulder, pin it with my head, and then with my free hand, bring it down on the elbow, snap the arm, dislocate the arm, pull it, keep pulling it through, and then hammer fist right into the base of the skull, and the fight. Okay? That's really easy if he's face down. If he's face up, same thing. If he's face up, then all I have to do is roll myself away a little bit. Again, fish for the arm closest to me, stretch it across my own chest, and then bring my own bicep over my own elbow, inside elbow, over his joint. Snap the arm, again, come in, hammer fist into the throat. Simple. So face down, face up, very easy to deal with. Okay, once I can grab that inside arm, stretch it across, I can break it uh, down, or I can stretch it up and break it the other way, depending on which way he's facing. And then hammer fist into the base of the skull or the throat, and the fight is over. Okay? Not to mention if he is facing up, if he's on his back, then all I have to do is bring this top leg out and stomp right into the groin with my heel for a little bit of an added bonus. What if he is facing me? He's not going to be facing away. That is the one position he's not going to be in. And even if 1 in a million chances that happens, then his back is toward you. That's even easier to deal with. We don't have to worry about that. The most dangerous is if he turns when I roll him and now he's facing me. Okay? Because this put us on equal footing. He's in my red zone, I'm in his red zone. Now, with my top hand, I can throw my regular jab, hook, and uppercut. All that stuff, all that standard stuff. But remember, he can do that too with his top hand. Most likely that's what he's doing. As soon as I roll him over, he's facing me, that top hand is coming at my face, so I have to try to defend myself and try to block that. Because when I'm laying here, I don't have a lot of room to move out of the way. So I have to try to deflect whatever he's throwing. Now, where am I more advantageous is since I am the person trapping him between my leg, I'm the person doing the rolling him to the side. My own arm, my bottom arm is not trapped underneath me. Most likely his would be, because most people, when they feel themselves being rolled to the side like that, they'll stick their bottom arm out to try to stop it, to try to brace themselves. So hopefully by this point their bottom arm is trapped underneath them, but mine is right between my face and their face. Right? Since my top arm is going to be busy blocking, deflecting his top arm, I have to rely on my bottom arm. And this is where the Snapdragon strike come into play. You see, with my bottom arm, even though it's not really trapped, I don't have a lot of room to strike because I'm laying on my shoulder. I'm laying on my right shoulder. So my right arm, there's no way for me to pull it back. There's no room. The ground and my own body is stopping my elbow from coming back. So I don't have room for a very strong strike. If I want to do a traditional boxing or MMA kind of strike where you wind up and then throw it, okay? Because there's just no room. Because I'm laying on this shoulder, I'm laying on this arm. The only thing that can move freely is a little bit of my upper arm, my forearm from the elbow down, and my wrist. So to maximize what we can do from here, some people are going to say, well, why don't you do the hammer fist? Like you said before, hammer fist into the throat, hammer fist into the skull. If they are on their side facing you, you can still hammer fist into the side of their head, right? Yes, you can. The problem here is that they'll see this coming. If I try to hammer fist them, I have to bring this arm out and then hammer it down. If they're facing me, they'll see this coming. And all they have to do is lean back. And I'll miss. Okay? Even worse, if they lean back and my hammer fist miss and my hand go to the ground, all they have to do is duck forward and put their head right over my arm so I can't retract. Now my arm is trapped under them, and now we got a bit of a problem because my arm is pinned under their head, my top arm is trying to ward off their top arm, and it becomes a contest of strength, which I don't want to play this game. So No hammer fist, no traditional punch. What can we do? What I do is I bring my own fist back toward my face like I'm blocking. Okay, this looks a lot like a block. This is the beauty of this Snapdragon strike. I cocked my hand back toward my face so it's horizontal across my face like a block. My wrist, I'll flex my pinky finger toward my wrist so my fist is facing sideways. So if you look at my arm, it's kind of a little bit of an S shape. It'll go in and down and in again. Not quite an S, but you can imagine. It looks a little bit like that. Or a lightning bolt shape, if you will. It's kind of a curve, curve, curve. Okay? And then all I have to do is when I extend my arm, I'm going to do two things. When I extend my arm, I'm going to snap all my joints straight. Wrist goes straight, forearm go, elbow goes straight. My chin to their chin, straight line. Okay, straight line. My arm go from this S shape, lightning shape, go into complete straight line. That's the number one thing. Number two thing, even more important to get that power in, I'm going to whiplash my entire torso. Okay? Because I am holding their body between my leg, I have more freedom of movement with my upper body than theirs. So it's easy for me to lean back and whip forward with my upper body. And that's all it is. I'm holding on, I'm clamping down with my thighs. As I throw my punch, my body go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. Okay? Very, very hard hit from that very minimum distance. Okay? Very quick too. And there's nowhere for him to go from here. Okay? Again, curve, curve, everything curl up tight from my face to his face. From my face to his face. As I said, those of you who studied praying mantis or the snake style, you probably recognize something similar with those style. Praying mantis, we do the hook mantis strike. It's very similar. Curve everything up and then snap them straight. Except in that case, we use our fingertips, our the three finger strike. But the hand gesture is the same. Snap, 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 snap. Okay? In snake, we hit with our spear hand, but the arm position is exactly the same. Curl everything up and then snap forward. Curl everything up and then snap forward. Curl everything up and snap forward. The only difference in this case is we are not doing kung fu. We are doing self-defense. So I'm not going to do anything fancy like finger strike or spear hand. I'm using good old knuckles. Good old knuckle sandwich. Don't know if you can see that. That really leave a dent on that punching bag. Thank you for checking out today's Tactical Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. Now, stay safe and have a good night.